they always said I'm wrong, but what they doing today? I think they want me gone, but I ain't going away. They told me I was wrong, but look at my ass today. Da 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 da.
For the second straight year here on the Real Sports Talk Network, we have taken our favorite uploaders from across the internet and on the Real Sports Talk Network at youtube.com/Mr. Kelstar, and we have taken their Super Bowl predictions and combined them into one to give you one video that gives you in-depth Super Bowl prediction from many different perspectives of some of the best uploaders you will find across the internet. Here it is, guys, and I hope you enjoy it.
Hey, what's up on the Real Sports Talk? What's good on the internet? What's good in life? I'm Akeem Balaam, aka LI495. So, with the NFL season around the corner, it's only appropriate that I do a prediction video talking about who I think eventually will be in this year's Super Bowl. Now, last year I predicted that the Super Bowl would be the Eagles versus the Jets. And to tell you the truth, I was pretty far away in that prediction, but I guess you can't win them all. But when I look at the preseason and when I look at everything and I look at all the teams, I look at the landscape of the NFL, and I think, wouldn't it be something if the two quarterbacks that were widely seen as, in many ways, the two quarterbacks that are much maligned in many ways, that are seen in a lot of ways as part of the future of the NFL, Joe Flacco and Matt Ryan, wouldn't it be something if they met in the Super Bowl in New Orleans? Now, I know a lot of Saints fans wouldn't like it because it's in New Orleans, but there's my Super Bowl prediction, 24-17. Baltimore Ravens versus the Atlanta Falcons, and as I said, 24-17, my prediction is the Ravens will be your Super Bowl champs. So that's my prediction. What's yours? Until next time, see you on the internet somewhere. Real Sports Talk.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Dave from Wake Up It's Football, making my Super Bowl prediction for the Real Sports Talk. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. From the AFC, I like the Houston Texans. If they can stay healthy on offense, their defense is young and talented. They added Whitney Merciless with their first-round pick, and I'm hearing good things out of Kayshawn Martin, their fourth-round selection at wide receiver. He could be up and coming into that number 2 spot at wide receiver. So I like the Houston Texans only if they can stay healthy on offense. And the Green Bay Packers, I mean, you obviously see the posters behind me, but point is, I'm keeping it real, not because I'm a fan, but Aaron Rodgers, best quarterback in the league. You got arguably the most depth at wide receiver in the league. You just bring in Cedric Benson at running back, who's a bruiser. That's something the Packers needed. So you combine all those three things. Oh, and don't forget about Jermichael Finley. He's top 10 tight end in the league too. You add everything on that offense, it's just too dynamic. The flaw is the defense. If the defense can get fixed this year, watch out for the Packers, because last year they were obviously the 32nd ranked defense in the league. They addressed that in the draft with 6 picks. Their first 6 picks in the draft were defense. So Green Bay fixed their defense, they'll be good. Houston stays healthy on offense, they'll be good. I like those two, but I'm going to pick the Packers to win it all, 31-17. That's all I got for you guys. On to the next one.
What up, guys? Denton Day here, the Real Sports Talk, or Scrubpod Pro here on YouTube, and I'm here bringing you guys my preseason Super Bowl predictions. Now, the two teams that stand out to me are both, they solely resolve around their defenses, and at the AFC, that's the Baltimore Ravens, and the NFC, it's the San Francisco 49ers, both coached by the Harbaughs, and each of these teams were real close to making it to the Super Bowl last year. They each came within a couple of plays, but this year, I think they're able to get it done. Now, Baltimore did lose Terrell Suggs, but I think they drafted Courtney Upshaw out of Alabama, who I think will be a big player and hopefully be able to not replace Terrell Suggs, but make up for it a little bit. And the 49ers, they pretty much throughout the whole offseason, they upgraded their offense. They got Mario Manningham in free agency, they got Randy Moss. So I think both these teams will be able to not coast through their conferences, but I think they'll be able to make it to New Orleans and play against each other. Everybody wanted the Harbaugh Bowl last year. I think we'll get it this year. And I think John Harbaugh and the Baltimore Ravens come out on top with a final score of 27-24. I think the Baltimore's offense is just a little bit better than San Francisco's. They have more of an all-around offense and, frankly, a all-around better quarterback. but you never know what could happen. But my prediction is the Baltimore Ravens coming up on top 27-24 as the Super Bowl champions of the 2012-2013 NFL season.
Hello everybody, it's me, Payne from Payne's on Sports, and today I'll be giving you my Super Bowl 47 prediction. From the AFC, I like the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a team that consistently goes under the radar when it comes to Super Bowl predictions, and a team that consistently gets it done. And right now, offensively, this is still a pretty good team offensively, even if Mike Wallace does not come back in the next few days. I mean, the reality is you still have Big Ben Roethlisberger, you have Antonio Brown. Running back-wise, you have Isaiah Redmond, who should have a pretty good year, and Chris Rainey, a guy who I think has a lot of potential in the NFL. And then obviously, like I just mentioned, Mike Wallace should be back in the next few days, and that's what's extremely expected from him. Another guy I also like is tight end Heath Miller. He's consistently good. And defensively, this is a team that obviously has been judged by their oldness, I guess you could say, because, you know, people are criticizing them on that. But the reality is this is still a team that defensively is one of the best in the league with guys like James Harrison and Troy Polamalu. So I expect them to be able to get it done defensive side of the ball too. It's all around a very good football team, and I would not be surprised if they get to the Super Bowl this year. From the NFC, I like the Detroit Lions. This is a team that obviously is not as good as defense as they are on offense. Last year, Matthew Stafford had one of the best years for a quarterback ever, throwing for over 5,000 yards at the age of 23. This guy's not even in his prime yet. He's already thrown 5,000 yards in one season. Fact is, they still have Calvin Johnson. A lot of people are talking about the Madden curse thing. Personally, I think he'll be just fine. The last guy, wide receiver on his level, Larry Fitzgerald, who was on the Madden cover, he still had a pretty good year, so I expect Calvin Johnson or Megatron to have a pretty good year. And there are also some other weapons that you should know about for the Lions. First of all, I like Titus Young. He's a guy who put up decent numbers last year, and in his second year I expect him to take a big leap. And they also drafted Ryan Brawls, a wide receiver out of Oklahoma, so I expect him to also make a pretty big impact in his rookie season. They still have veteran Nate Burleson, and they also have extremely underrated tight end in Brandon Pettigrew. So offensive side of the ball, they're pretty good, and running backs wise too, I guess. Obviously, you know, Javad Best is hurt like almost every day, but you obviously still have Michael Ashore, who didn't play last year because he got injured, and they have a guy like Kevin Smith, who consistently puts up pretty good numbers. So defensively, yes, they aren't as good defensively. They still have a pretty good defensive line with Ndamukong Suh, Nick Farley, and Kyle Vanden Bosch, and you can't forget about Cliff Averill. So right now, those two teams that I like, and if I had to go down and predict one of them to win the Super Bowl, I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions. Seeing last year where a team was like the Packers and the Patriots, obviously, put up extremely good offensive numbers, outplaying very good defense, I think a team like Detroit could end up having a pretty good year, and I expect them to win this year's Super Bowl.
Yo guys, what's going on? I'm Justin from The Real Sports Talk and Pro Football Exclusive. Make sure to go check out my website, profootballexclusive.com. Today, guys, I'm here to give you my Super Bowl predictions video. I'm going to start off with the AFC right here, right now. And a lot of you guys are thinking of the one team that has a greater chance of going back to the Super Bowl, and that's the New England Patriots. With what they have in their offense, you got Brady, Aaron Hernandez, Rob Gronkowski. The receiver core is just great overall. But they didn't get the job done last Super Bowl. They lost to the Giants. And a lot of you guys are thinking, like, you know what, okay, it's a new year. The Patriots are going to be going on to have another successful season. I have them at 13-3 on the year, but you know what? I have them having their season halted in the AFC Championship game. You guys are wondering by who? Who can stop the Patriots? You have the Pittsburgh Steelers who have a good shot. You got the Baltimore Ravens who have a good shot. I'm going with a team who was really under the radar, a team that lost a quarterback last year due to injury. I'm going with the Houston Texans in this one. The Houston Texans, this is a team on the rise. If you look at their success last year, Matt Schaub was really the main factor in that whole team. He held that offense together. You got Arian Foster, who just went off last season. I really like what the Houston Texans have in their offense. When you look at their defense, they took a lot of blows. They lost to Mario Williams, DeMeco Ryans, but you know what? They're going to be turning it over to Connor Barwin. You got Brian Cushing there, Brooks Reed, just to name a couple of guys on that roster. This team, their defense is young. It's still one of the top defenses in all the NFL. And you know what? A great offense, a good defense. You know what? This is a team who is really underrated going into the season. That's my predictions right there. Going over to the NFC, I have been having a lot of debate right now on who I was thinking. I'm sticking with the team in the NFC South. I'm going to be going with the New Orleans Saints defeating the Green Bay Packers in the NFC Championship game. This team has just been all over the NFL offseason with the Bounty Gate scandal and everything. They don't have Peyton anymore right now as their head coach. They're bringing in I forgot the name of the new head coach there for the time being. But you know what? This team, they lost some offensive production on their team. Like Robert Meacham is gone, the receivers took a blow. But you know what? They still got Jimmy Graham. They got Marquise Colston, Devery Henderson, Lance Moore, Courtney Roby. And Drew Brees, the face of the franchise right now. I'm going with the New Orleans Saints and the Houston Texans, and I have in the winner of the Super Bowl this year. I'm going with the New Orleans Saints. They're gonna be like, you know what? Okay, we don't have Sean Payton with us for this year. You know what? We're gonna power up. I mean, this offense is just on fire. You got Darren Sproles, who just really took over last year. This guy can be like a number 2 receiver because you know what? This guy was played well in San Diego, and they used him with what they did in San Diego over in New Orleans, and this is just going to be a good year for the New Orleans Saints, even though minus the Bounty Gate scandal. Drew Brees is going to continue what he was doing, and you look at this is going to be a very entertaining Super Bowl, but you know what, in the end, I have the New Orleans Saints and the Houston Texans, and the winner of the Super Bowl is going to be the New Orleans Saints.
Hey everybody, this is Blake Jennings, B&K Sports Lounge, but today I'm going to be doing a video for the Real Sports Talk Network. You guys go check them out on Twitter. Here in a sec, you'll see a little link pop up for the Real Sports Talk Network. Basically, they asked me to get on with them and do a quick little video of my Super Bowl predictions. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and give you my Super Bowl predictions. And obviously, depending on what happens the rest of the preseason, this could very well change come week 1. For example, the 2 teams I choose, maybe the starting quarterback's out, done for the season, obviously that would change. But if everything stays the same for the NFC side and the AFC side, I'm going to give you guys probably a little bit different than what everybody else is going to give you. Everybody else for the AFC is going to be giving you the Patriots, the Steelers, the Ravens, and the NFC side, the Packers, the 49ers, Giants, all popular teams. I'm actually going to do something a little bit different. I want to give you guys a different perspective to look at. So without further ado, for the NFC side, I'm going with the Chicago Bears. And for the AFC side, I'm going to go with the Houston Texans. And here's why. NFC side, I can very well see the Chicago Bears getting that wild card spot going into the playoffs. As we've seen the last 2 years, the team who got that wild card spot from the NFC side not only went to the Super Bowl, but then ended up winning the Super Bowl. So, honestly, I know everybody thinks that the first round bye and home field advantage, that is an advantage. But because history does repeat itself, I think the big question becomes, is that a disadvantage, having the first round bye? Is it an advantage to continue to play throughout the playoffs? Because, it's like preseason. If you skip preseason, you just go straight in regular season, are you up to speed with everybody else? Same with the playoffs. I think that first round bye, one of the questions could become, is that a disadvantage? On to the NFC side. the AFC side, the Houston Texans. It's real simple, provided they stay healthy. Last year, Matt Schaub was he was injured the whole season. Andre Johnson battled with injuries off and on. They still went to the playoffs. They still won their division. They still won in the playoffs. They had a playoff win last year. So if everyone can stay healthy, if they can build off of last season, I really, really, really like the Texans. Not only do they have probably the best big 3 in the game between Schaub and Andre Johnson and Foster, but they're in probably the easiest or second easiest division of football. So, you look at the Ravens division. You got the Ravens, the Steelers, the Bengals. So, let's say the Ravens or Steelers have an off year, only 9 or 10 wins. You got to think, the Bengals may win that division. If that happens, if they only win 9 or 10 games, Bengals could win that division, get into the playoffs, they won the division, and then 2 other teams that didn't win their division, maybe like the AFC West division. You look between the Broncos and Chiefs, maybe they get 10 wins. And then, of course, the AFC South or East, maybe the Buffalo Bills come on this year. I don't know, but honestly, one of those teams could not make the playoffs. If you've been watching my divisional rounds, I do think they will. But I'm just saying, the Texans, they are a clear-cut winner of that division. I think that they're only going to get better from last year, and they were really good last year. You're talking about a team who, before Matt Schaub got hurt, they had the #1 seed going into the playoffs. The #1 seed. So, I like the Texans. I like the Bears. A little bit different, I know. I honestly see the Chicago Bears, Brian Urlacher, going out his last year or two, kind of like Michael Strahan did. Michael Strahan, his whole career, he almost got there. He did get there, and he lost to the Ravens. Is this Brian Urlacher's year to win it? Anyways, hope you guys like my different opinion, probably from everybody else's, but this is Blake Jennings, B&K Sports Lounge. This is your first time seeing me. Please subscribe to me, especially if you like what you hear. Again, I'll put my link right here, same place I put the Real Sports Talk Network. Thank you guys for watching me. I appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
Guys, what's going on? I'm Tim for the Real Sports Talk at Eagles Training Camp. Check out the realsportstalk.wordpress.com. Super Bowl prediction here, relatively quick because about to get kicked out. But we'll start in the AFC. I have the Houston Texans. I think that they put it all together this year. Matt Schaub's able to stay healthy. You got Arian Foster. I think Andre Johnson even is able to stay healthy this year. You look at that defense, despite losing Mario Williams, still have guys like Brian Cushing, J.J. Watt. I think Wade Phillips has done a great job turning that defense around. I think the Houston Texans win the AFC. In the NFC, I think the 49ers are able to put it together as well. Alex Smith and them were really a Kyle Williams punt drop away from going to the Super Bowl for the first time in a long time last year. I think that they do put it together. I know a lot of people are concerned about Alex Smith. I think he's in the right system. Frank Gore is able to stay healthy, and the San Francisco 49ers defense is really strong. Obviously Patrick Willis there, Sean Goldson. I think that the 49ers win the NFC. My Super Bowl winner, though, is the Houston Texans. I think Matt Schaub is finally able to stay healthy this year. The Houston Texans win the Super Bowl.
Just a little bit around the corner from fear. Be there, next year, where I'm going.